that they were going to bring back X-Men the Animated Series?
Well, I guess I'll start. First of all, I want to say thank you for having us here. We love you, fans, and I want to say it's because of you that we are back. It's because of the fans, so thank you. You know, we all got together about 5 years ago for a Comic-Con in Texas, and it was the first time we'd all been together in about 25 years. And we had such a great time meeting the fans and finding out what our show meant to people.
So,
that
wait, did you want
dinner at the final night
that or
with the
her
writers
herself?
and the original director who we'd never met before till then. And we all said, wouldn't it be nice if somebody was to bring back our show and bring us back with it? And we said, well, let's just put that out to the universe, that's what we want to happen. So fast forward a few years, and when we started to get emails saying, hey, Disney is doing a new show and they're interested in talking to you about it, it was like a dream come true. So I'm just very grateful, and I know we all are, to be back, and we love our fans. They're the best.
Everybody's recording. You're fine. I think with those 18
5 or 6 years ago, I said to my voice agent, because I wanted to be up for this animation, that someone said, hey, this is recording you should go up for it. So I told my voice agent, just tell him I was the Nightcrawler in the X-Men animated series. And he said, and he's a good agent, I love him dearly to this day, he goes, nobody cares about a 25-year-old cartoon.
Boo!
So then about like 2 years ago, I'm just sort of minding my own business, having sort of a medium slow year as an actor, as one does from time to time. And I get this email through, and it goes, oh, they want you to record this, and I get like voice auditions all the time, and you look at the lines, you do them. And it says, Adrian may recognize these lines. And it was like, look in your heart, Herr Logan. And I said, God, can I still get there? Anyway, so I recorded it and thought, what if I don't get it? Anyway, clearly I did, and I hadn't seen any of these guys for 25 years, and we get together this way and meet each other and hang out, and it's fantastic. And it's amazing to see so many of you really enjoying the show right now. So thank you.
I had essentially retired and was kind of wishing that X-Men would come back when we had done that con in New Braunfels, Texas. And when I finally got the call that they were going to resurrect X-Men, but we had to re-audition for our roles. And when they sent us the sides, they were the exact same sides that I auditioned with back in 1991 for the original series. So it was a real blast from the past, and a gift that I will always treasure. And thank you, all you fans who made it happen.
I just want to add that George sounds fresh as a daisy as bees. Don't you think so?
Woo!
How can I put this? So I'm thrilled to be part of X-Men again.
Next.
But yeah, when it happened, I was actually doing a series for Hallmark, and it got canceled on the Wednesday, I think, and on the Friday, I got an email saying, looking for Catherine Disher was the subject line. And they sent these sides and for a new Marvel project. And I looked at it, and I recognized the dialogue immediately from 30 years ago, but they changed the characters' names to like Paul and Lisa or something. But I recognized the dialogue. And so, and I'm telling you this because I'm the only one here on the stage who is not playing her original character. So, I figured they wanted to know if we could still sound the same after 30 years. So I actually went into a studio with an engineer friend of mine and voice matched myself. I uploaded the clips from the internet, and I'd play a clip, and I've done voice matches all my life. And voice matched myself. And I say this because somebody sent me an article recently saying the reason I wasn't playing Jean Grey again was because my voice had changed. So I know it hadn't. I know I voice matched myself exactly, and that was the first audition we sent in. And then we got a second audition, or I had to audition twice. I don't know about you guys. And the second audition was a little odder, and I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. But I say that because somebody's, I'm very happy to be part of the X-Men again. I'm not playing Jean, I'm playing Val Cooper. Was I kind of devastated not to be Jean again? Yeah, honestly, in a way, yes. But I feel like the X-Men is so much a part of me, and Jean, honestly, is in my body and my soul. So she's not going anywhere.
Jean who?
And Val Cooper has actually turned out to be far more interesting a character than I first thought. I didn't know about Val Cooper initially, so I'm thrilled to be a part of it again. And I just love meeting fans. I wasn't at that first con you guys went to in Texas. I've only been doing it for a little over a year, and hearing how much the original cartoon touched everyone so deeply, it's been a very, very moving experience. So thank you for coming out, and thank you. Lenore's right. They wouldn't have been rebooted if it hadn't been for you guys. So thank you.
Yeah,
I
all the
was on the
millennials.
talk for 2.5 years. Now I don't know what to say.
Are you finished, Red?
Yeah.
All right, so you're
You look beautiful still.
I brushed my hair before we came out.
Where's your God now?
I was just so happy when I got the call to just to have this guy back, because he was such a big part of all our lives for those 5 years, and then just to have it taken away like that, and go like, okay, you'll never see or hear him again. Bye. Okay. I just couldn't believe that would never happen again. That it would ever happen again. And so when it did, as everyone else, they sent me this audition line, and of course I recognized the episode, but I found it a very weird audition line, assuming that they gave it to everyone that they sent it to do the same line. You would think that they would do that, and it was just such a very non-Wolverine type read. It was when it was called Cold Vengeance, when he goes up with the right after Jean, runs away because I have to go, Cyclops needs me. And they couldn't kiss, and Wolverine gets really beat off and lies down on the bed, does that meme thing, and he's got his claws and he's scratching out Cyclops. And then he runs out to his Jeep and he's going to leave the X-Men to go up north, which he does. But as he's about to go, he just notices behind his Jeep his Cyclops car, and of course he couldn't resist. He goes over and rips the roof off, and Jean is standing there and says, "Wolverine!" It's only she can say, "Wolverine!" And his heart, he just looks at her and says, "Tell Cyclops I'm in a convertible." And he leaves, gets in his Jeep, and away he goes. So the line that they, for the audition was this, the chief is sitting outside his tent or hut, and the two of them
Those
are
my,
talking. Wolverine, there's never
brothers
many
and
people
sisters.
call him a friend. if
They're
any.
really into X-Men.
And the chief says, the people are very happy, and it's all because of you. And Wolverine, this is the audition to read, like, what was to the chief, this very quiet talking to him, like, I don't get it. I feel happy too. I feel at peace. That was the audition line. Yeah, like none of this stuff. Just this very quiet thing. But anyway, I got the part. So, and again, as everyone else has already iterated, so I'll use that word that really doesn't exist. Reiterate that it was just, it's all because of you guys. And you just, with all your bugging Disney with your emails and all that stuff, please bring our show back. You did it. And we're so happy to be here.
Oh, I guess they had
And
reserved
also
seating at
helped
the front.
when Disney put the original series back on Disney Plus. It hit #1 and stayed
There you go.
Yeah, they don't do anything that isn't in their own best.
Want to know why? Because everything else sucks from
It's
Disney.
been a big hit for Marvel, and it's been a big hit for Disney, and the original, again, has been too.
So they actually watched the stuff that was worth watching.
So let's hear from some of the fans who've come and have questions.
Oh, they were hiding.
Hi. I just wanted to ask, aside from the characters you voiced, who's your favorite member of the X-Men?
Gambit, of course. Why not? He's full of sugar.
My favorite today is Storm because she's so
He's video
powerful
recording it, basically.
and can connect with the earth and the skies and the weather.
I'm worried about you.
They're gonna write that into the next script.
I like Rogue.
I'm Team Cyclops, and sorry.
Big news. Teacher's pet.
Well, you never told me to get down. I
Oh!
missed that. Anyway, I miss the old Cyclops, and I admire the new Cyclops, but I really miss Norm.
Norm Spencer.
And I like me. I like His Majesty down there. I keep wanting to call him Sabretooth, but God rest in peace. Your Nightcrawler. I just love that accent. I love his interpretation and his acting stuff. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Hi there. So, big fan of the series, and thank you for all coming back.
He's wearing a hot dog
Yeah,
costume.
hot dog. My name is Michael. You can call me the Condiment King, Colonel Mustard, Mustard, Danger Meyer. I go by a lot of names.
That's a great
But
costume
you
for a
guys,
con.
Actually, your voices basically define the X-Men for my generation. And I think that even now, when we read X-Men comics, we hear your voices as the characters. So,
Yeah. Preach, brother.
playing the X-Men for so many years, I mean, I'm sure you have a really good understanding of the characters. And now that the X-Men are finally being introduced into the MCU, my question is, how would each one of you like your character to be introduced, if you had to say?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, I think we've been living in everybody's heads for free for so long. We should be paying you for rent. But, I don't know what they're going to do with the MCU and the live action movies yet. But I sure would love to be able to do an animated feature film of the X-Men.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I think we should put that out there to Disney.
Like they would botch it up.
Thank you, and the hot dog cosplay. Why am I salivating? Sorry, anyway, but I thought
Or Disney
Alan
had to
did
say
a
they
nice
would make
job
a
when they
Wolverine
do,
black
uh,
for no reason
Oh
whatsoever.
yeah, that's the way to do it.
Or just Jean Gay or
I
something.
don't want to say what I would like to happen to the character just because I like to be surprised, just the way I'm surprised every time I open a new script of this show or other shows. But this one particularly is like sometimes I come in there thinking it's just going to be. I'm not answering the question at all anyway. Okay, sorry. Little ADD here. I would love to see them explore what it means to have the ability to disappear out of this reality and reappear somewhere else, and what happens in between. I love the way this particular animation has discovered that. That's it.
Remember what the question was?
Something about it.
I don't even really understand what the question was. How do we...
Well, he's a wiener, for God's sake.
How do we want our character presented in the MCU?
I guess.
Presented or introduced. Technically, you've actually already entered the MCU. I mean, or Frasier did. So, I mean, if you look at the end credits for Marvels, but if you had to say about how you want Beast to be introduced into the MCU, what would that be?
I really don't know. I'm not that familiar with the MCU to really make a judgment on that.
I'm going to say right out loud that I've always found the concept of the MCU And it has to do with the fact that there were Marvel movies, there already been X-Men movies, and these characters have all been introduced in movies in one way or the other. I get it's because Disney and Marvel are coming together, and now Marvel has the X-Men, they own them again, and they can introduce them into the larger Marvel universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's the live action movies. I have never, I'm just
For what?
say this out loud, I hope no one's taping this, but anyway.
Oh, believe me, they're taping.
Oh, I know. Well, I have never been a huge fan of any
I might
of the
have to stand up
actresses
and
they've
look,
had play
because I can't see.
Up until now. I take it back. Great actresses, like Famke Janssen, fabulous actress. But I always felt like Jean Grey was this, all-American girl, and heart and
All I
soul
see is
and
him
very sort
and
of,
one other guy standing, but I can't tell if there's a line,
down-to-earth
so
way, and
I might have to
I
walk
can always kind
around.
of hear Famke Janssen's accent slightly coming through. So I don't know. If you're
But I
asking
think all you have to do
I
is
think
raise your
play
hand.
Jean Grey going into the future. I have no idea. Maybe a real redhead, maybe Bryce Dallas Howard, or
Lucille Ball.
wow,
I'll be
you
your
really are
Desi.
old.
I'll be your Desi.
Cal just had a birthday yesterday, so.
Our show is an animated series and is based on our voices. Anything that happens in live action, quite personally, at my age and in my condition, I want really no part of. Hats off to Kelsey for
There you
being
go.
able to pull that off, because he's not a young man either. But they are two universes. And if people hear
There you go,
our
that's a little
voices
more
when they
centered.
read a comic book, or when they think of an X-Men, then that is how I want the character to be introduced, to stay true to the characters that we created, and to carry on the tradition that we established. And that's about it.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Woo!
I also
Do you want me to go
like-
check if there is an actual line
It's
for
actually
it,
an
or?
honor and a privilege to live
Okay.
in people's heads, your voice to be in people's heads, especially when you started watching the show when you were kids. It's an honor and a privilege, and none of us take that lightly, honestly. We're very grateful for it, and we're honored to be there in your heads.
That, and I know that you're me in your head when you're doing the comics. You will all owe me a lot of money. So just come to my table and you can give it to me there.
Oh my God.
Bubs.
Hello, I'm gonna try not to cry.
Oh, okay, so there's
my
like
name is Nigel.
8, 10 people.
Okay.
Do you want to go over there?
It's an honor and privilege to stand here in front of you all. And George, I just wanted to say, Beast is my favorite X-Men, and you are my favorite X-Men, and I'm so grateful that you came back and did the show. Truly.
Thank you so much.
My question is what is the difference between voice acting?
And I don't know if you saw when you went and saw him for the voice act.
Universe?
To get his autograph, he actually
There
had his
isn't
claws
any
on
other
his
than
hands.
just the fact that we're in,
Yeah, he was
in
just-
a studio by ourselves. But I want to make it clear, voice acting is acting. Right? Sometimes it's considered like the bastard child of acting, but it's not. To be able to use just your voice and be able to get across any emotion and tell a story is really a unique talent. And so I, again, feel blessed that we're given this opportunity, especially a second time. And when they did the X-Men in the 90s, they tried a lot of different voice actors who did a lot of different cartoons for Saturday morning cartoons, but then they ended up going for theater actors who had done theater and movies and television and jingles, and they came after us, and all of us had a very big, a lot of different shows we had done before we did X-Men. And we've been able to utilize our skills, and it's just such a privilege to be able to do so. So thanks for the question.
The biggest difference is you don't have to look your best.
By the way, my favorite line is a Beast line. It's when you get in a cab and you look into the cab and it zooms away, and your line is something like, "Why is it always so hard to get a cab in New York City?" I love that line. Every time I see it, it's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what Lenore said. I mean, like, I come from a theater, TV, and film background, can still do them. Good Doctor, episode 707. Sorry, plug. When you get in front of a microphone, sometimes I fool myself that I'm just going into the studio, and then I'll get some of these scripts that most of you have heard so far, and I'll go, oh no, I have to bring it. I have to kind of be connected emotionally to the lines. I have to, regulate the emotion coming out of my voice in a certain way. It's like if there's a camera there, that's one medium. If there's a stage like this, that's another medium. But a microphone is the energy just focuses it in on that little point there. It's just like a different stadium.
Thank you.
Hi. This question is for Cal. So any fan of yours knows you're like an amazing singer. Do you think that's something?
Oh, it's a woman dressed as Wolverine. And she's got the long.
She says you're an amazing singer, and we ever
Whatever they're
hear
called.
Wolverine sing?
So
Maybe the
the
Canadian
long
anthem.
sideburns.
Yeah.
Will you ever hear him sing in this voice? No. No. Although, what's his name? No. Oh, another, yes, a singer. The guy that saxophone is Louis Armstrong.
Oh, wow.
That would be probably the closest to sounding like Wolverine, next to Wolfman Jack, baby. No, you'll never hear him sing. It couldn't possibly, because this is all from the wrong part of your vocal cords. You should never use them like this. If you're a singer, which I did, well, not stupidly, I was about to say in 92, because I was like singing every day as well in the studios.
Now
It's
just
ridiculous.
watch.
After a scene with Cyclops, come on. After a scene with Don Frank's Sabretooth, that it was just ridiculous, because it was just screaming and the two of us fighting ad nauseum. Everything but farting. Sure, he was doing some of that too.
You say no singing, but now that we've had this question, probably season 3 will be. Oh, have we not the big holiday episode? There is Wolverine.
Thank you, and you look cute.
Thank you.
So give the
They
name.
made me sing.
A little bit more. There you go.
Yes, I had to hum opera.
Yeah, you always have to
in
like change the
new
camera
one?
angles with the weird
really?
camera angles they have.
Yeah, no one wants to hear me sing.
Next question.
Hi, I wanted to ask Lenore. Rogue went through X-Men '97. Rogue went through this really incredible, tragic journey through grief, and it got kicked off at the end of episode 5 with the line, "I can't feel you." Do you recall if it took like a lot of takes to really get that delivery down, or what kind of emotional mindset did you have to be when you were delivering that line?
Wow, well, thank you for that question. When I first started recording X-Men '97, I was a little bit worried how my voice would sound, because I had been crying for a number of months because my young niece, Maya, had just passed away of cancer at the age of 17. And I was crying every day. So my voice was a little bit nasally, and so I had to really focus on trying to get rid of all of that to go into the studio. And when I got the script for episode 5, remember, I just said, okay, this is my opportunity to use my grief and channel it into the emotions that I'm going to pour into this particular episode. And that's where it all came from. And so I feel that in a way, I was keeping her alive with every breath that I took. And I felt like this is what I'm doing with Gambit. Like I'm just trying to put my love and my sadness and my grief and my emptiness into that moment. And then episode 7, when she's going through the rage, Rogue goes rogue, I was using some of the anger that comes from grief as well for that. So it was a very healing thing. And when when the fans mentioned on social media that they were broken and that they were feeling really sad about losing Gambit, I did reach out to people online and said, you know, use it, you know, feel the feelings, because it's good, it's healthy. We all need to do it. All of us have been going through a lot of grief probably in the last few years because of the pandemic. A lot of us have lost people we love, and we've been isolated. So let's use it, let it out, and it's kind of cathartic to be able to do that and then come back again. And hopefully it's been helping people to heal. And that's about it. Thank you.
I just want to add that I had read the script, and I knew what was happening in episode 5. And the end of, like, what Lenore did at the end of that, like, tore me apart. And I was like, oh my. And anyway, but just props to my friend here.
Thank you, brother.
Hi. So firstly, just thank you. You guys were like a defining factor in my childhood. And I want to ask specifically that, like, there's a lot of powerful moments in 97, a lot. But I think one of the ones that hit me the hardest was with Wolverine. Well, his skeleton pretty much being taken out. So I was wondering, what was it like knowing you were going to get a scene like that raw, or in a series where something like that just insane?
The script from hell. Yeah, the script you never want to get. Actually, I had a meeting before the whole thing, before the whole series started, and said, "You're not getting rid of him, are you?" "Oh, no. Just a little bit."
I might have dropped my phone somewhere.
I just didn't. There wasn't much to do either. I mean, except scream at the end. And I actually inquired as to why they
Oh,
pulled it out.
okay. Thank God I have it.
3 takes of like an extended
Yeah, you're
scream
good.
of pain, because quite obviously that would not be a pleasant experience. Trying sucking all the adamantium out of his body, oozing out of him. It's ugly hit, and just scream, just deadly 3 different times. But holding it for about 30 seconds, like long. And then I watched the thing, and it ain't there. It's gone. You know, and there's just, his mouth's wide open. There's nothing coming out of it. And the explanation I got, well, because then I watched it back again, and there's a picture, the comic book pictures come up from the comic, the actual comic in which it happened. And his mouth, that's what they put up on the screen at the end of that episode, is his face agape, his mouth agape. And he was so in such pain that there was he had no energy left to scream at all. The pain was so severe, he was thinking nothing would come out because he couldn't get the energy to scream. So I of course accepted that. So it was tough to watch, to see it happen and stuff. He's like my brother.
Thank you.
First off, I want to say I love all of you guys, and I actually have OCs of each one of your characters. Few for Jean, she's one of my favorites. Few for Jean and Wolverine, actually. And
Mine too.
Okay, I'm Team Wolverine, I take it back.
my question's actually for Catherine Disher. So, what was it like for your character Jean to die and come back to life with the Phoenix Force? And would you change anything of how it happened?
Would I change it? No. No, I actually rewatched the whole Phoenix saga recently. It's one of those things where you think, oh, I've got like 5 hours to kill in front of my computer, and having gone to cons and hearing people talk about it. And funny thing is, there was a scene where she's dressed as Phoenix. I have 2 lines, then I have another line, and then I have 2 more lines, and the middle line is not me. It's one of those things where you go to a movie and you see the microphone drop in, and it's because when Dark Phoenix took over, when she became Dark Phoenix, they wanted a completely different being to inhabit her. So it was an actress that they hired called Jennifer Dale, not Jennifer Hale, Jennifer Dale. So she played the Dark Phoenix, and but they would get confused and they would call us in. They would make a mistake and call me in when they meant to call her in, and had me do like impressions of her. So there are other parts of Dark Phoenix where it's actually me doing an impression of her, and clearly that was her in the line. It was just very funny to watch. So no, there's nothing I would change about it. I think, and Larry Houston said it best. I think we were at another con and he said it was the most ambitious thing anyone had tried to do. I think, what is it, 9 episodes altogether, the Phoenix and Dark Phoenix? And he was shocked that they let them do it at the time. And I think he was incredibly pleased with it. And if he's pleased with it, you know, him being Larry Houston, and then I'm pleased with it. And I thought it was, it's my favorite lines for Jean is when she's, you know, taking the crystal up to the sun, and it's so Jean, you know, and she's going towards her certain demise, she thinks. And all she can talk about is how beautiful it is, and how she wished that Scott could see it. And that, you know, it always, that to me is Jean.
I don't
Oh, with him, Scott.
An old dog
That's kind
with
of
a
a
very old
disturbing panel.
bone. All right. Yes, thank you for the question. I love all of it. I love all the Phoenix Saga, and I know that people make fun of Jean for fainting a lot, and I get that. My son couldn't wait to show me that compilation video. I was horrified. You'd think that somebody along the way would have said, Catherine, your impact runs sound a little sexual, but nobody ever did. So, but on the other hand, you know, Jean took on everybody's emotional baggage, and I get that people love the Phoenix because she was able to finally show the incredible, powerful being that was inside her. And that's why so many people have Phoenix tattoos, and they relate to that. And so I understand that too, and it's a wonderful part of the whole Phoenix saga. Sorry, I forgot the question. I hope I answered it. You did. Okay.
First of all, before I ask my question, I want to say, Nor, you've always been on road, Shannon.
Thanks, Sugar.
My question is for all of you. Have you ever seen or watched any of the movies or other animated shows that came out after the original one? And if so, what were your thoughts?
I only watched the first one, and I haven't seen the other ones, so it's not really fair for me to answer, but yeah.
Well, here's a fun fact. Some of you may know this. George and I are the only 2 of the voice actors in the show that were also in the live-action movies. So I've watched them all. You played, what was that, truck driver in the first one?
In the first one, I brought Rogue to the fight arena.
They know?
Yes, as a matter of fact, when I went into audition for the role of the truck driver, it was just a general call for the incidental characters in the movie. And I read my 5 lines of the truck driver, and the cast, the stunt director was sitting next to Bryan Singer, and he knew me. And he leaned over to Bryan and he says, "That's the voice of Beast." And Bryan lit up, and he called me over to his table, and he says, "Without your show, I would not be making this movie today." I got the part of the truck driver.
In X-Men 3, I played Jean Grey's
You're gonna
dad.
do it? You can't see it
In
at
the
all.
flashbacks, right at the beginning of the movie, you got
You gotta move it up if you're gonna do that.
Patrick Stewart sitting opposite me, and they come in and they try and talk me and Mrs. Grey into letting their daughter go to their store. And
There you go. You
I
got
had
it.
2 lines, maybe. I think one of my lines was, "What about her illness?" And then, of course, "You think your daughter's ill, Mr. Gray?"
I have an Avatar fan
It
under.
was like cars turned over anyway.
I don't know what that has
The
any voice
question
actors
was
though.
something about watched them. Yeah, so I've watched a few of them, and yeah, I mean, I love them, but I just take them as they are.
I've watched every one of them, and I love the X-Men movies. But they're a different genre.
Yeah.
Different genre. And they amuse me as much as any other movie that I've seen. And I intend to see every movie they make about the X-Men.
I agree. I just think my introduction to the X-Men was all about the original cartoon and doing it. So for me, that is the X-Men for me. So it's when I watch I agree, it's a totally different genre. I can go and enjoy the movies, but I feel sort of a disassociation from between the movies and the animation. And I get that the movies were kind of based more on the cartoon, you know, than anything else. But yeah, I can enjoy them on a totally different level.
I think they were all, well, it's apples and oranges, the two, you know, animation and real life. And I watched the first one for about 5 minutes as soon as Wolverine walked in, and he wasn't 5'3". I didn't understand he didn't have yellow and blue and black on. And so Hugh came into town in the year 2000 to shoot his first attempt at this. Who knew it was going to be like 9 more movies after this first one for him. And they wanted the two of us to meet at a wine and cheese party, which that's huge. We all really drink a lot of wine. The two Wolverine's getting together with some wine and cheese. So anyway, he walks up, he's just freshing off the plane and stuff, and he trained harder than anyone. The guys that trained him said he was a ninja. They could not keep up with him. He was just 12 hours a day. And so he came in, he was told to listen to the voice from the animated series, Cal Dodd's voice of Wolverine. There you go. That's the only voice in people's head about that book they have of Wolverine. Can you try and incorporate that or find somewhere? Which is like, we walked up and he said, nice to meet you. He said, it's a pleasure to meet you too, Mike, but I'm sick and tired of listening to your voice. We went on talking, and I said, oh, okay. And we went on talking, and he said, I've got so much physicality in this movie, and acting, and doing stuff, and without having to like try and impersonate your voice. He said, it's a great voice. He said, no, Mike, don't get me wrong, but I mean, obviously, the violence and the fighting in that movie, to keep track, oh yes, I've got to be doing Cal Dodd's voice. You know, so I said, no, well, that's cool, no. So we chatted for another couple minutes, and he turns around, he's walking away, and in Wolverine's voice, I said to him, hey, Hugh. And he turned around and said, yeah, mate. Yeah, mate. And I said, don't mess this up, bub. Now go and have a great shoot. Thank you.
Hi guys, so I'm actually not a Phoenix native. I'm from Westchester, New York.
There you go.